Bert, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Architecture Repository. I was wondering if you could take a few moments out of your evening to talk to us a little bit about yourself and who you are, and about your book and what it's about and who it's for.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Bert Dingemans. I am a data architect based in the Netherlands. I'm an independent architect and I am focused on doing training and coaching teams who want to make a next step in introducing their architectural processes within the organization. So introduce enterprise architectures, application architectures, etc. And in most cases, when organizations want to make the next step in becoming more mature in their architectural process, they are in a certain moment, they have to take a look at what an architecture repository can do for them. And I assist them for that. And I do that in the Netherlands currently. It's very popular in the health area, in hospitals, and also in Dutch governmental agencies. They are trying to introduce the architectural repository approach.
Oh, that's very interesting. So I know a lot of Leanpub sort of viewers will be familiar. Everyone will be familiar with building architecture, and many Leanpub viewers will be familiar with software architecture and stuff like that. But if you could just take a moment using a health example, maybe talk about what enterprise architecture is.
Yeah. It's a combination of two terms. Enterprise, well, that's an organization or a couple of organizations working together and trying to make their business or do their things. For example, in governmental agencies, well, they are also doing different business in a little bit different way. They support the society. So that's the enterprise part. But also you have the architectural part, and that's like an architect in the building world. He or she is making a model of what a building or a bridge can look like. And what does an enterprise architect do? He or she is going to take a look at, okay, what can be a construction or what can be the composition of an enterprise? And how can we make that an enterprise works more efficient, or that it suits what the organization is offering to the society? For example, governmental agencies, well, they try to support the society, but they try to do it in the most efficient way. And they are going to draw models. They make small drawings of what an enterprise will look like. And I will say, well, those are boxes and squares. That is what it looks like. But every box has a certain meaning. A box can be a certain person, or it can be a business process, or it can be an application, or it can be something like infrastructural, like a database server or whatever. And so that is what they are making drawings of, and they can try to get grip on and improve how an organization is performing in the work they are offering to the society or to the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating subject. So, for example, I mean, just to pick a hospital, you might have all kinds of equipment, and that equipment needs to be managed in various ways. But you also have payroll. So you have people and you need to have ways of paying them, and you need to maybe issue them paychecks in the past or something like that. And so you've got these very different things, like say paying people to do things, managing all of your equipment and stuff like that. How do you buy it? How do you procure it? And then what the enterprise architect does is takes all of these things, tries to apply models to them, and then surface all of them in one kind of place. So everyone in the organization can share their information, but not just their information structures with each other. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But you have one extra aspect, and that is that there are all kinds of stakeholders around the organization, not only people working in the organization, but for example, in Europe, privacy and security is a very important subject.
Right.
So you see from the legislator, they say, well, you have to take all kinds of measures to take care that the privacy of your patients is taken care of. And then you have to take measures, and you will see that your enterprise will change, how people work. They are not going to tell to their neighbor what the disease is of somebody else, but they also are going to take all kinds of measures that they take care that, well, not everybody can see the health records of patients that they don't have to worry about. So all kinds of measures to be taken, and you will see that the drawings of the architecture of the enterprise will change due to all these factors, like stakeholders from abroad, but also from inside also.
And just my last question is, what's the difference between a repository approach and a document-driven approach?
Yeah. And document-driven approaches, that's what we mostly see currently. People are going to work in office automation. They use Word, they use Excel, they use Visio sometimes, and they make in Visio, they make those drawings. And that has one large advantage, because when there is something changes in such a complex constructs of an enterprise architecture, you have to think about, oh, now I have to modify 25 Word documents and 10 Excel sheets and 15 visual drawings. And the chance, of course, is large that somebody is going to forget to update those documents. I can tell you an interesting joke. I was doing a new assignment in an organization, and in the morning I was talking with the enterprise architect, and he showed me a PowerPoint presentation, and he showed me his drawings. And in the afternoon, I spoke to the data architect, and he also presented me a PowerPoint presentation. And unfortunately, only one slide of those 10 slides were equal to each other. So 9 or 10 slides were completely different. So they had a complete different picture of what was happening in the organization. And that's the challenge what you have when you are working with an enterprise architecture. So when you are going to introduce an architecture repository, you are going to introduce an environment where you work together. It's quite simple. There's a database underneath it, and you're going to store all your models in your database. And based on that, when you are going to create a model for your own case you are working on, your own project you work on, you can take a look in the repository and you see, oh, thank you, colleague, you already created some 50-70% of the drawing I have to make, and he or she's going to extend that model with his or her own extension of the model. And next week, somebody else can say, oh, thank you, colleague, you expanded the model so I can build on that model, and we can continue, and we have a shared view on what is happening in the enterprise and what is happening in the architecture of the enterprise.
Well, the book is Architecture Repository. Bert, thank you very much for taking some time out of your evening to talk to all of us about it. And I really recommend the book to anyone interested in how to collaborate in the enterprise, and especially if you're growing in your business. These are really important topics to get your head around. So thank you very much, Bert.
Okay, thank you very much.